Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Post-Ag of Zombies. I've been experimenting with a lot of stuff, and I really want to find something for the next format that I can mess around with competitively but still have fun, and this is it. I've been loving zombie lists ever since I got into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I've always messed around with them, and I'm really looking forward to this coming out in TCG. However, let's not waste time. Let's get straight into the list. I will say, this list does require in-depth knowledge and resource management, um, which I will explain later, uh, to be able to be played most efficiently. So just bear that in mind going into this, because otherwise you'll run out of cards very fast. But right, we'll go straight into the deck. One Doom King, staple of zombie decks. He keeps coming back, and he's interruption when Zombie World's up nearly all the time. Two Diablo Star, the Dark Witch, new card coming in Agov. This card does so much, I cannot understate it. It sends stuff to the graveyard, which can get your graveyard effects going. It gets you the original Sinful Soil Snake Eye, which will then get you even more synchro plays and extension, and even draw you cards. The impact on the deck is massive, and this is the only reason I considered playing the Adventure package over Punk, which I would usually go straight to. One Wandering Griffin Rider as part of our Punk package, one Changshi for the Changshi Shinobi Necro interaction, which I love so much. One Tearlament Sharon, it's just a one of that can mill cards and give you an extra body, as well as getting bricks out of your hand like Mizuki, so that's always good to have. One Necro World to search your zombie world, as we're running two of it, and we haven't got an AFD in this list, so yeah, that's just there. Two Gozuki, this is probably it's your better normal summon if you need Zombie and Gozuki, though you're not actually going to be using its normal summon effect. You'll be using its graveyard effect as soon as you synchro/link it off, because you'll be activating Rite of Aramesir. Three Mizuki, we love Mizuki looping. Mizuki's it's the only reason I play zombies, I'll be honest. If Mizuki wasn't a thing, I don't think I'd actually like zombies. But yeah, just a reborn, amazing. We love Mizuki. The two Ishizus to mill. This can get you out of tight spots, and you have a lot of beneficial graveyard effects going for you. There's never really been a dead mill with these. There's always been something. And there aren't really any mills that really shut you down, because you're not really milling until after you've used the adventure engine. So really, once you're milling, it's just cards that either you don't just do nothing, or graveyard effects. There isn't really anything that you'll be like, oh shit, I've milled so and so, my strategy said. So this is amazing, and it's also, if you're in a tight spot, foolish one of them, see what happens. Three Water Enchantress for our adventure package. One Unizombie, you only really need one in this version of the build. You're going to be reborning it often, not normal summoning it, but yeah, it's still a very good zombie tuner. Three Ash Blossom, both an extender and a hand trap, ironically. Yeah, nothing really to say. Shinobi Necro for the interaction with Changshi. We've got one Jet Synchron, search off our Sinful Spoils, and Jet Synchron has been amazing. It's allowed me to go for Hyper Librarian plays and all sorts of things, and it just enables you to do so much more with Synchro summoning in the deck. Three Andron Lockbird, this is just because I've been using Droll a lot recently. You can sub this for Imperm, Hand Trap of your choice, or Non-Engine of your choice, depending on the format. I've just been running into a lot of stuff that requires Droll, and I've also, at the moment, my locals is one that requires Droll, so I've just been testing with that in general. But that's just three Non-Engine, essentially. Two Rite of Aramesir, you don't need three, because you'll hopefully got Water Enchantress, and you also, if you're milling, you'll hit Water Enchantress to get your right. So that's fine. Two Talents and one Thrust. I've gone for this way round because you don't really want to go second, and Talents going first has been so good. It insulates combos, so it means that if you do get interrupted, you can still keep playing, or you can interfere with any further interruption on your opponent's part. However, if you prefer to balance it, you can go two Thrust, one Talent. That's just how I've been playing it. It's all subject to change anyway. One Foolish Burial. Well, you got to gamble with the Ishizu sometime or another. Then our Sinful Soil Snake Eye, which is just going to grab our Jet Synchron, and then we've got the Sinful Spoils Hunter themed, which will grab our Diablo Star. You're reactivating this in draw phase, and then just play our own draw. And it also will place your Snake Eye on the bottom of your deck and allow you to draw a card. I don't know whether I'm going to play more fire targets for Snake Eye, but but this is just a beta at the moment. We'll finish. We'll have a final list when we actually have some stuff, because you could technically grab a Snake Eye and search your Kurikara, but I'm not sure. It feels bricky starting to when you go into those territories. Fateful Adventure and Drake are back for our adventure package, and two Zombie World, because you sometimes will want to turn a Zombie World off, or you want to cycle through them, and sometimes you just mill them off the Ishizu, so two's probably the right call here. One Baron de Fleur. It's Baron. Trishula, because you can make this a lot, and when you're going second into a board, if your opponent has used their negates, Trishula can like just win the resource game so much. Ravenous Crocoddragon, this draws you into non-engine and other extenders, as well as being a quick play pop to out stuff like Floodgates against Labyrinth. Borreload hasn't come up as much. This is more flexible. You probably can take Borreload out if you want, because you're not really sending links to your graveyard on your first turn. So if you want to experiment with other stuff, go for it. Cyframe Lord Omega, your main 8 target. This card, so you just rip a card out of their hand. It can proc hand effects early if you're playing against stuff like Labyrinth. They might sometimes shotgun a Stovey. And it also can bring your banished Mizukis back into your graveyard. This has come up. And it can also just shuffle a card from their any graveyard into the deck, which is kind of cool. Then we've got Dawn Dragster. It's a 7 that's a Spell and Trap negate when you're in a Spell and Trap matchup, or just any matchup, to be honest. This can come up most matchups. Immortal Dragon. I think the only reason I'm still keeping this in is because we've got Shang-Chi, so just synchroing as much as possible is very beneficial. So yeah, Immortal Dragon, and this is definitely still a staple of zombie decks. Like you can easily tune for this one way or another. One Hyper Librarian. You have to be careful about when you decide to use this, or if you decide to use this. But when it is useful and it's applied properly, it can win games on its own. Just the fact you're drawing like 4 or 5 cards, refreshing your hand, you're drawing into all your non-engine. Yeah, it can be insane. One Herald of the Arclight. This is again more flexible. I haven't had it come up as much as others, but it's like tuning Water Enchantress and Jet Synchron, or in one very dodgy situation I had against Eldritch, I think it was tuning Unizombie and a normal summoned Droll and Lockbird. Yeah, yeesh. Underworld Goddess to out big scary boys, because that's probably our only real out to towers in this deck, apart from making access code that's big enough to swing over them. Access code is more flexible again than other things. You can experiment with stuff because it's a thing that hasn't come up as much. Apo, sometimes Apo just be a good card. SP Little Knight, which is another card coming in Agov. Oh boy, this is a card. Yeah. Then we've got IP Masquerena to go into SP or Underworld Goddess, and we've got a Vampire Sucker to draw us even more cards. Vampire Sucker with a Doom King Baladrock in the grave that triggers on opponent's turn. Mwah. But yeah, so if in terms of extra deck, if you're wanting to experiment, I'd recommend the flex slots being Access Code, Herald, and Borreload. You've got a bit of room to work around there, because you could technically play something like Psychic End Punisher or some other links, but it's really up to you. Or you could go for a Super Poly package and add in Draco Necro. But there's plenty of options. In the side, we've got 3 Bestials to deal with Dark and Light decks, obviously, and it's actually been most useful against Labyrinth more than anything else, interestingly. Then we've got Storm Duster evenly for going second against any sort of strat, really. Mainly spam traps, obviously. We've got a Sinful Spores Betrayal Sylvia, which is for when we know we're going first. I didn't want to put this in main with the Diablo Star package because if you draw this going second, you're in for a bad time. So I put this in the side. I think it's fine in the side, because then if you've drawn your Simple Spoil Snake Eye, or if you don't think it's the right opportunity to use it, then you can set this and it's just a face-up card negate. It also isn't out to Dark Ruler if you have another thing you can chain onto it, like a set Spoils Hunter Fiend, which is quite cool. 2 anti-spell for, again, anti-Dark Ruler plays, and also Rivalry because we're playing Zombie World, and it's funny to lock our opponents into the zombies that they are probably not playing. Right, so now I've gone and done a quick rundown of the cards in the deck, I'm going to get into some games real quick, show you how you sort of go through your combos and how you manage your resources with it, because you can be punished hard if you just throw effects around, or if you do things in the wrong order. So let's get into some games. So in the first game, we're going against Sword Soul. We are going second, which is annoying, but it's fine. They start off with a weird play of long one, straight into long one into Baron, which is fair enough. To be honest, yeah, it's reasonable. So I was confused about the tire pitch, but it will come up later. Then we'll go Moye, standard chaining on Chisha, chaining 2 Moye. We're going to Ash Moye here because we don't think that we have another opportunity to Ash. We're hoping to pay out a Baron negate, or at the very least remove what could be a potential drawn non-engine. It's just because there's nothing else we would Ash at this point. They go for Summit, which is why they pitched the tire. Didn't see that coming. and then they get to go and tune for a Dragite. So that added a problem to our equation of another spell and trap negate. And they've also got Ashna engraved for follow-up, potentially, because they've got a Vishuda in hand that we know about. So in the draw phase, we're shotgunning Hunter's Fiend, because we want to dodge around Droll if they had it. They're going to immediately go for Dragite. So we're feeling kind of good about that. We're going Zombie World because we know we have a second one in deck, and they are worm deck. They like worms. So they're going to shotgun the Baron, and we're feeling good now. We can just go Talents, draw 2, and any normal summon, and Diablo Star is it. We go Chaining 1 Fateful, Chaining 2 Diablo Star, because we want the Fateful to resolve more. They do not use Chi Shao, my friend. That is the last opportunity you will have to do so, because we are just going to go and use the Adventure Package now. Yeah, so we are currently holding the Draco back, and now we go for the Draco. So we aren't going for Griffin Rider here, because we want to get the Draco back, and then we want to pitch off Snake Eye, because to summon our Jet Synchron, because then Draco back will then just equip back on. Though we don't know if the tokens stick around, and we're gonna just get a Mizuki, and Trishula does things. What can I say? We would have banished Baron, a card from their hand. Either would have been good in the Ashna, and then we could have gone Mizuki, Reborn, and Ash Blossom into a Baron, and then popped the remaining card on field, and it would have been very hard to contest. So that's an unconventional going second turn, but yeah, again, when you've got stuff like the Adventure Engine where it's possible to maximize advantage, you need to be able to use it, and stuff like just knowing, oh yeah, you can pitch Draco back with your Sinful Spores. It's important. It's those little things that can win matches. So on to the next game. So next, we are going against Labyrinth. So we're going to start off with Water Enchantress, and then we're going to go for the Rat of Aramesia, and we are pitching Guido. We're going straight for the search effects, then we go Chaining 1 Guido, Chaining 2 Wandering Griffin Rider, because turns out Dracoback isn't the only thing you can pitch off of Fateful. So we're to insulate any further combos, and we're also milling 5, and then we hit a Kelbeck. We also have now got a Mizuki engraved that's ready, and we've got a tasking in hand if we do get interrupted. We know we've hit Labyrinth at this point. However, things will actually change in a minute. So we're going to go the Draco back here, because it could be pitched off of something like Jet Synchron further down the line. We hit Super Poly. This presented a big problem in my head, because Zombie World makes our board very Super Polyable. So we're going to go Mizuki, Reborn Diablo Star, because now we've got our Draco back in hand. We can Jet Synchron pitch it. But what we're actually going to do here So initially, I was thinking about sending Draco back, quit back on. I misplayed here. I should have kept Draco back in hand, and then gone Jet Synchron pitch it. But because we are going to go Simple Spoils, send our Zombie World, because if they had a Super Poly, they don't in this scenario, but we didn't know that, they could just go Mud Dragon clear. So yeah, we're going to go grab the Jet Synchron here, and we're going to start doing synchro plays. We're going to draw first to see what we get, and we're going to go straight into the Omega, rip a card out of their hand. Because we're fine ending on this board. We know they had a Stoby-Torby in hand just because of time of things. And we've got an Ash Blossom. We've also got Necrode if we really want to quick activate a Zombie World. And we've got Jet Synchron in Graveyard for follow-up, as well as the Water Enchantress, which is pretty good. We're not in a rush against Labyrinth. You have to take your time. So they're going to go for Stoby-Torby. We just want to Griffin Rider that. They've pitched 2 for it. They've paid their punish. We're fine just going Draco back negate here. So they do have a Lady Labyrinth, unfortunately, which is going to give them board presence, and it also means they can big welcome bounce. So perhaps we should have chained our Necro World to the Lady Labyrinth in hand, but that happened. So that means our Draco back is out of the equation for now, and they do get to go Stoby-Torby. They are going to set a Skill Drain and a Dogmatica Punishment and go straight into a Chaos Angel, banishing Fateful, which does hurt. It's damage to the Adventure Package. And for turn, we're drawing a Talents. So we're going to go grab Omega. We're going to go just start off with the Water Enchantress. They hit with Punishment, target Omega. We do not chain Omega here. We have 2 cards in hand that trigger off monster effects in the main phase. We are fine with our Omega being destroyed. They can get all the cards they want, because we will get all the cards we want too. Unfortunately, we do not main deck Featherduster, so that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. We can grab our Foolish Burial, which can convert into anything. We are going to then go for our Adventurer lines. And we've gone and chained Griffin Rider to our right. Bro, you should have used that Skill Drain early. So they are just going to go Shotgun Skill Drain. We have Griffin Rider, obviously, and now we've got Zombie World. We can send our Mizuki, and we've got pretty much free reign to combo from here. So we're going to go Diablo Star, and initially I was planning to Baron, pop our own Snake Eye, but then I decided we can keep it around for a little bit, Baron de Fleur, swing over, and then we're left in a game state where it's like, we know you've got the Welcome Lab, we have the Ash, you have 2 unknowns in hand, you could swing, the Lord immediately contest the Baron, so we're just going to go for Baron de Fleur. They go Welcome Lab for some reason. Sure, we'll chain the Baron that's about to leave the field anyway, and then we get to go Omega. Then Omega grabs our Mizuki back to the grave. And then they set a card, immediately just Omega, get rid of it, and they're left with the Daruma Cannon, and they swing over the token. So we're in a good spot here. We're contesting 1 back row, as long as it isn't skill drain, we're having a pretty fun time. They Daruma Cannon on normal to go Zuki, so we kind of have a bit of free reign now, so we just go Unizombie. Unizombie would have pitched a Mizuki, Mizuki would have reborn, and then we could just go into Baron again, which kind of solves the whole problem. So our opponent just scoops it up there. So it's not bad against trap decks, especially if you have that information from the Ishizu pieces. But yeah, on to next game. Jump cut to when I've regained my voice, because turning out stream for like ages tends to muddy your voice. You can find me on Twitch. Quick shout out there. But yeah, game 3. This is against Sidra. This is mainly just demonstrating a bit of combo, I believe. So we start off in the draw phase with our Sinful Spoils to dodge around the Droll and Cockbird. And then we'll go Shire and Pitch Kelbeck, and we'll just see what options are available. We mill on Nagito, and suddenly we've got a lot of cards available. So we have hit Jet Synchron, which is kind of annoying for the Diablo Star engine. However, we've hit Mizuki, Necro World, Gozuki. We've got Sinful Spoils in the graveyard to start recycling stuff. We've got our adventure package, and we have got Jet Synchron ready to go. So we'll start off with Adventure. This will insulate any further lines, and it just sort of lets us go for it. Then go for the Gozuki. We're not afraid to start off with the Gozuki to trigger the Fateful, because we can always bring it back with the second Mizuki. We know we've got access to Zombie World, so we're sending our Doom King Baladrock here. And then we'll just go for the Zombie World. And then we'll go for traditional adventure stuff just to get our negate up and online. And now we can start playing the game. So we go Vampire Sucker, because we want to start drawing on our engine. Then we go Changshi. Then they are going to go Imperm on the Griffin Rider. We're fine with that, because now we just tune it all the stuff away. We're just going to get rid of that so we can draw a card, because Jet Synchron is gone. Thrust won't be triggered this turn. And so we're ending on Baron, Sucker, IAP, Griffin Rider, and the Baladrock that's about to come back, which will draw us a card. We've also got our Ash in hand, and off the top, a talent. That's fine for next turn. We'll stop the Disc Coliseum, because we thought, oh, that immediately answers all the threats. Because a Regulus contests all of our board, essentially. So we're fine with that. But then they go for Afterburners, which we're forced to negate. They'll go Clockwork Knight, pitch a Regulus for a Regulus. Don't know what the point of that was. We have to stop the Cyberdragon Core here, because they can contact fuse with our board otherwise. They go Regulus, we're going to go IP, and then we're also going to go Baladrock. I did not realise here the Regulus doesn't have to equip in order to summon himself. That was my misplay. But we're not in that we're not in that problematic of a game today, to be honest. So we have to negate the Clockwork Knight here, because they would be able to contact fuse our whole board. So instead they get to go for Dark, steal the Baladrock. And it's like, sure. We draw Diablo Star, and they're gonna banish our Baron. We forgot about that. And so this is all just me royally misplaying into what my own Baladrock. But we hit a Diablo Star here, so we're kind of fine now. So we go Gozuki. Gozuki send a Unizombie, because we're going to banish the Changshi. Changshi banish Shinobi Necro. Shinobi Necro summon itself. Then we get to go into Borreload. Bonk. Battle phase. They protect. I forgot about that. We really just want our Baladrock out of the equation, and now we just get to bring that Baladrock. They're sitting on a dark with nothing out. So they get to go do some stuff here. We'll negate the core, obviously. Contact fusing is scary, and we're not really scared of a Regulus, and that will be the game. So we misplayed a bit there. We waved our hands about and just threw effects at them willy-nilly because it's a Cyber Dragon player. We've gone full combo. We're not that worried. I think the one thing I'd take away from this replay is perhaps more Snake Eye targets, but that's about it. Okay, so final thoughts here really. Um, I I've done a bit of work here. These ratios are slightly different from the ones at the start because I wanted additional targets for Snake Eye. However, this is still just under development. It's in beta currently. Um, the other noticeable change is another Diablo Star. I'm going to continue working on this because I think there's still room for improvement here. But I really like the style of play it's doing. It feels a lot more secure than Punk Zombies. So I guess you can expect more from me on this deck or similar builds. Um, but if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. I've got a few decks in the work that people have asked me to do. Um, Moving into regional season, I might be a bit more busy, just because I will have to innovate for that because I'm I'm aiming to hopefully top a regional or maybe even two. I'm going to a few if they finally actually announce them in England. But yeah, apart from that, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I'll see you next one.